in charge. Charles in charge. Okay, so good evening and welcome to whatever's channel I put this on. I'm probably just going to put it on the One Lonely Farmer channel. So I went to the mailbox today and I got something. And I just needed to share my thoughts about this to everyone. This is, you see this? If you're a farmer, you know exactly what this is. Yeah, you can see my address too. Send me hate mail if you want. Actually, that's not my address. That's a different address to a place that I know very well. Not my home address, so you can, I don't know, send them hate mail. See how they like that. But anyways, I'm going to open this up here. And I will tell you exactly what it is if you don't know. And I just broke the pen. Can you believe that? Damn it. I'm dropping my aspirin pills there. Yeah, pen is junk. But it'll work for tomorrow. Anyways, just don't open stuff with it. Okay, so this is the National Agricultural Statistics Survey. Yeah. Oh boy. See, I have so much fun with these things. See, the last time... Why am I getting this letter? Okay, so the last time I got this, I refused to fill it out. And I was actually going to lie to them and just write down that I do like 10,000 acres of corn and 100,000 acres of soybeans and you know, so on and so forth. Because honestly, the United States Department of Agriculture does not use this information to benefit you. This information is actually used to hurt you in more ways than one. Like, they publish the information that they collect from all the farmers in the country so that investors can invest their monies accordingly. Now, wow, they even sent me this really nice envelope, you know. I should just seal it up and send it back empty. Or just with their letter saying, no thank you, I'm not going to participate in your agricultural survey. So, completionist form fulfills your mandatory 2017 Census of Agricultural reporting obligations. Under no circumstances are you obligated to fill this thing out. When you become a farmer here in the United States, it's just you wake up one morning and you go farm. There's no farm licensing, there's no farm education that you no formal education and rates and requirements that you have to become a farmer. You just need to know how to you need to know how to do stuff, obviously, and you would need to do some research, but you do not have to involve the government in your day-to-day agricultural business, which I find it rather interesting that they're even sending me this anymore, is because I don't even go to the Farm Service Agency any longer. I don't buy crop insurance because I'm uninsurable. I don't grow a crop that they would insure. I have to have that NAP coverage and everything else that they were talking about. And the other thing is, I'm just sick and tired of the U.S. government getting in my shit. You know, if I want to raise corn, soybeans, wheat, barley, rye, clover, alfalfa, lespedeza, whatever I want to grow, I will do so, and I do not need to inform the government of what I am doing because there is no law requiring me to do so. It does not say in the U.S. Constitution, you, Mr. Farmer, have to tell us exactly what you're doing so we can compile that information into a big conglomerate and then sift through it and then release it in a production format, and people can bet on the futures on the stock market. And you know, the Chicago Board of Trade just has a field day with this shit. So they're asking for all kinds of information. They want to know everything from how many acres you own to total number of acres rented and leased, total number of acres rented and leased to others. But if we're farmers, why would we rent and lease to others? That is beyond me. I mean, if you're a farmer, you're a farmer, and that's just it. You report all these acres into cropland, total acres after. This is like a tax return. I mean, it's almost identical. If you're non-ag and you're looking at this, you're probably thinking, "Holy shit, that looks like my 2017 tax return." Yeah, farmstead, home, buildings, livestock, facilities, ponds, roads, wetlands, etc. all has to be reported according to this. I don't know where, or, I know where they got my information to send me this was when I was going into the Farm Service Agency on a yearly basis and reporting all my acreage like a good little farmer, like a good little boy, who thinks that the government is actually on their side by throwing a few pennies at you to keep you going. It's farmer welfare, by the way. If you have to take farmer welfare, you need to quit farming now. And if you disagree with me, you need to quit farming now anyway. I get crop insurance and things like that. I get why we would purchase it, but anymore the government got their hands so deep into your pockets to pay for the, it used to be subsidized, and that's where most of the subsidy came from, was crop insurance, and that's not what you see on the website. That everybody USDA website where they go to see how much money we've gotten from the government. That's actually not even listed on there as to the subsidies that actually matter, which was a crop insurance subsidy. But now you have to have like 5 different policies that cover nothing. It's a waste of time and money to me anymore. Let's see. We go from rented land from others, and then you got to complete the film. They even want dollar amounts, including rent, land, or buildings. It was total cash rent paid. Now they use this information for the cash rent. What they do is that's what sets your CRP. So if you're filling this out and you're saying, oh, well, I paid $450 an acre rent in 2017, but 2018 is a whole nother story. So this information that you're giving to them, they're going to use it against you. If you're against CRP, which 99% of farmers are against CRP, if you're against it and you fill that out, that you're paying $450 an acre rent, they can then say, well, because we have a non-competition clause in our U.S. Constitution, the Constitution of the United States of America, they take that $450 and they can give up to $450 an acre. But that's not what they'll do. They'll take the average of the whole country and then they'll break it down into regions. And if you're in a region where it's $450, they'll use that information for CRP. They'll say, okay, so the average rent in Illinois is $425 an acre. So we'll pay for up to $400 an acre. That way, we're not competing with everybody in Illinois. When the fact of the matter, I'm sure there's some areas in Illinois that the ground isn't that cherry $450 an acre land or $425 an acre land. It's not that $25 to $50 an acre land because it's either real rocky or it's just shitty drainage and all that other stuff. Just like any other state in the United States. Not every state is perfect, and I'm just using Illinois as a guideline. Like New Jersey, I should use New Jersey because I'm familiar. Here in my area, it is marginal soil. You'll grow marginal yields and marginal crops. Is it profitable to grow grain here? Yes, some years it is, some years it's not. The rent here is like the average in Hunterdon County is $12 an acre. That's it, $12 an acre. But you'd be lucky to get 150 bushel to the acre yield. Now you get up to Warren County, and I believe they're paying $220 to $320 an acre for rent up there because they can grow better crops more consistently. So I don't know what the average in Warren County is, but it's not what it is in Hunterdon County. Are there some areas in Hunterdon County that can produce like Warren County? Well, yes, there is. But anyway, so with that being said, it's what you put down in this is what gives the government the information that they need to actually fuck you in the ass with CRP ground. Land use practices. Was anything drained by tile? We're actually drained by ditches. We're under conservation easement. I mean, you have to write down every acre that you do this in. Field crops. So we got a whole bunch of field crops. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different field crops, and here's the codes. You have a bunch of different codes, and you use those field crop codes to fill this thing out. And then at the end it says, from any year's production, exclude contract sales and removals dollars. Removals dollars. So you have to exclude contract sales. So if you're a contract farmer, you can't use those. Nursery greenhouse agriculture. Oh, here we go. Mushrooms, vegetable seeds, and propagative materials. So that doesn't even apply to me. Vegetables, potatoes, and melons, fruits, nuts, and berries. It's all the same. You just have to go through this thing. Cattle and calves, hogs and pigs. Hogs and pigs. What's the difference? A hog is a hog. Pigs, hogs, and pigs. It should be hogs/pigs, not hogs and pigs, because it's the same damned animal. Wow. So these are the type of people that are making these surveys up that don't know the difference, that don't know that cattle and cows, cattle are cattle, hogs are hogs, pigs, calves, cows, it's all, oh my God. Sheep and goats, they got that right. Poultry, chickens and turkeys, all other poultries, which I imagine would be pheasants and anything else. Colonies of honeybees, other livestock products. Other operations, growing, feeding, raising livestock for this operation, marketing contracts. Oh, that's where they get the marketing contracts from. And wowzers, man, holy smokes. They even gave me a sample in here. Commodity example. What quantity of this commodity was delivered through the contract? So if you're contracting your grain on forward contract, I believe that's what it is. Yeah. Okay, production contracts, custom feed livestock, accounts receivable, deferred payments, organic agriculture. They even get the organic guys. Food marketing practices, fertilizers, chemicals, and soil conditions applied. So they even want to know how much fertilizer and how much lime and other soil enhancing things you do. I've heard of people using soft coal on their ground as minerals, because coal has a whole lot of micronutrients in it that most people don't know. And coal is dirt cheap. It's the screenings that you get from up here in the coal mines. Government payments and other farm-related income. Boy, that'd be a big zero for me. There's a lot of those, though. Holy smokes. Landlord's share of crops and livestock. So we got crop sharing is even in here, which is an antique way of doing things. Not too many people are doing crop sharing anymore, which I kind of like the idea. But, yeah. Operating and capital expenditures. So they want to know what you've borrowed, what you've lent, and everything else. And there's a lot of room for that one. Fuel, LP gas, natural gas, gasoline, gasohol, diesel fuel, all other fuel. They even want to know what you're heating your house with. Can you believe that? Electricity for the farm, purchase water for irrigation, all other utilities such as farm share, telephone service, water purchases, and other for irrigation, farm supplies, marketing container, hand tools, farm shop power equipment, including expense for temporary fencing, exclude expenses for bedding, litter, and permanent fencing. They'll ask for that later in this thing. How much was spent in each item? And I want to get down to the back. I'm just going to skip all the way to the back. I want to know if they're going to give me any money to fill this thing out. But I know in here, conclusion, is it possible that agricultural activity information reported in this operation could also be reported by another operation? I would have to say that no. Thank you for your participation. Now, years ago, this used to say, NASS is collecting information on the costs and returns for operating a farm ranch in the United States, and it is essential that we collect this information directly from the operators to make this information as accurate as possible. The information you provide will be used for statistical purposes only. Your responses will be kept confidential. Yes, it will be kept confidential. They take everybody's agricultural survey and they average everything, and it goes into a report. So each region, each FSA office, all these different agricultural regions, it all goes into the pot, and then it gets averaged out, and then you'll see it on the USDA website. You can go look to see what the average of everything was purchased, cost to grow it, and everything else. It's in there. So, but your name won't be applied to it. Any person who willfully discloses any identification information about you or your operation is subject to jail term. woohoo, a fine, or both. This survey is conducted in accordance with the confidential information protection provisions of Title V, Subtitle A, Public Law 107-347, and other applicable federal law. For more information on how we protect your information, please visit www.nass.usda.gov. Confidentiality response is voluntary. You may skip any question you prefer to answer. According to the Paperwork Reduction Act of 1995, the agency may not conduct or sponsor, and a person is not required to respond to a collection of information. Now, the last time I got this thing, they told me it was required by law that I respond. And I told them, no, it is not. And they say, yes, it is. And I told them this very simple thing. I said, well, then call the FBI and have them investigate me for farming and throw my ass in jail. That's what I told her. And she says, well, we don't really do that. So, when she says they don't really do that, that means that this thing here is a piece of toilet paper. Take it into your outhouse. Oh, wait. They're illegal because you wouldn't dare shit outside. You might pollute the fucking planet. Anyway, this is toilet paper. It's too bad that you can't flush it. It won't flush, but I don't know. Use it to light your fires tonight. It's kind of chilly outside. Go start a fire. You just do this, right? Oh, yeah. Now you do this. And I like the tear method, really. It works really good. Like this. Oh, yeah. Tear it up into nice little sheets like that, and then you crumple it into balls. And if you don't believe I'm doing it, there it is. Government doesn't need to know what you're doing. They really don't. And actually, the more blind you make our government to your activities in agriculture, the better off all of us will be. It's a load of horse shit that they tell you this to make it sound like there's one guy in a room that's reading this stuff. He compiles it, and only him knows what you said and what you do. Actually, I think here's one better. I'm going to send it in. I'm going to send it in like this. Ready? So, tomorrow, in the mail, this is what they're going to get. Okay? I'm inserting into the mailbox, into the envelope. I'll probably get a paper cut. Yuck. Ugh. Where's the dog? I need to lick its ass to get the taste out of my mouth. Ugh. Ah. Tasted better earwax. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to send this out. It's got my name on it, so they'll know exactly who sent it back. There's just no need to fill that out. There's no need. Wesley K. Pandy does not want to fill it out. Wesley K. Pandy is not going to fill it out. They will call me. Oh, yes, they will call me. The results of this survey will be available in aggregate form only. There it is. So, with all the information that you may or may not provide in this wonderful little survey, when it's available for aggregate, investors around the world will look at this thing and they're like, hey, the last census, however many years it's been, I think it's like every 5 years. Maybe it's 5 years for the ag census, or 10 years. I don't even remember now. It might be 8 years. I'm not sure. But they're going to look at that information. They're going to say, okay, so United States farmers are trending more towards soybeans. So the futures that we will, be purchasing, long-term futures will be towards soybeans, because soybeans are very useful. Or it's corn, or hogs, or pigs. Hogs and pigs, because we all know that hogs and pigs are just totally different animals, They're just totally not the same living creature. That blows my freaking mind. Cattle are cattle. Doesn't matter whether they're dairy cattle, or whether they're beef production cattle, or whether they're American bison cattle. Cattle is cattle. Cattle. Duh. If you want to talk about dairy, we could go back on to dairy. But what I'm saying is, don't fill this thing out. Don't give the government any more information than they absolutely have to have. They don't need it. They can fuck with your life all they want, but you don't need to help them to do that. So, anyways, this is me signing off, and yeah. So, if you see me like this, on the news for telling the government they can kiss my ass, well, they can kiss my ass, and this is probably going to get demonetized. But it was, it's just a load of horse shit. They're going to call, and I'll keep you updated on that. And if you're in the United Kingdom, this is a little bit like TV licensing. If you're not from the United Kingdom and you don't know what I'm talking about, TV licensing, it blows my mind. But go to YouTube and type in TV licensing and sit back and enjoy. Make sure you got some popcorn and a beer because it's kind of entertaining. Anyways, peace.